So thank you all again for being here today. My name is Ciara Cullen, and I'm going to be presenting my project, How Unique We Can Be, Celebrating Differences Through Children's Literature. So first, my inspiration for this project. So my project is actually a children's book, which I'll read to you later in this presentation. But the reason I decided to do this project is because I've been working with preschool age group for a long time. My mom is actually a preschool teacher, and I have worked with preschool age children for a long time now. And they were sort of the inspiration for this book, the children that I worked with at the Boston University Children's Center. I wanted to create something that could be read to them in a classroom setting. And on a more personal note, I've always loved reading. I've always loved writing children's books. So this is an example of one. And my favorite activity to do with the children at the Children's Center is to read books to them. So this project seemed like the perfect opportunity for me to create something for those children. And then I also, when I was thinking about what I wanted this book to be about, what I wanted the message of the book to be, I thought of my favorite children's book. So my favorite book is called Beautiful Oops. And what it does is it takes something that traditionally has a negative connotation and turns it into something positive. So the book is about having mistakes in your artwork and turning it into something beautiful. So that was really the inspiration for this book, because I found that in a lot of children's literature, even in books that I love, differences are treated as something either more neutral or even negative. And I wanted them to be portrayed as positive and something that should be celebrated. So one example of this is in A Bad Case of the Stripes. The main character is, her biggest fear is that her classmates will find out that she's different, which is, I think, not a great message to start out the book with. And then even in The Rainbow Fish, which many of us know and love, the at the end, the rainbow fish shares his scales with the other fish in the ocean. And so the message is that differences are only good when they benefit others. So the creative team for this book, I actually co-authored this book with my advisor, Karen Jacobs, and our illustrator, Jen Van Horn, actually had illustrated the book I showed you a couple slides ago. So I'd worked with her in the past, and she's a very close friend. So here is the book. I'm just going to read it to you. And one thing that we did do is hide little shamrocks throughout the illustration. So as I read it, if you want to keep an eye out for those shamrocks, feel free. Every day at school, we learn about the things that make children different from each other. My hair is curly. Your hair is straight. My hair is long like some of the other girls in my class. Your hair is long because boys can have long hair too. My eyes are brown like chocolate. Your eyes are blue like the sky. My shirt has a dog on it because I like dogs. Your shirt has a cat on it because you like cats. My snack is crunchy and green. Your snack is soft and pink. I'm drawing with a purple crayon. I like coloring with a yellow marker. I'm finger painting. I like to use glue and pictures to make a collage. I'm building a really tall tower. I like to make my structures short and wide. I'm a fast runner on the playground. I like to skip from place to place. I'm bringing my silky blanket to nap time. I like to sleep with a stuffed rabbit. I'm silly and laugh loudly when I play. I like quiet games better, but we can still play together when we understand each other's differences. I like to hug my friends when I say hello. I give my friends a high five. Isn't it great how unique we can be? Meeting children who are different is what makes preschool so much fun. So some of the discussion questions that we'd included at the back of the book are: what color is your hair? What is your favorite food to eat? What is your favorite game to play? What does unique mean? And what are some other things that make you unique? And at the bottom is one example of the shamrocks that we'd hidden throughout the book. So I just wanted to point out a couple of the choices that we'd made and where the inspiration for each of these illustrations comes from. So this was actually the first page that I'd written in the book, and it was directly inspired by a conversation I had with one of the children I work with, because she had her favorite animal on her shirt, and it was one of the ways that she could express some of her interest to everyone in the classroom. And so the text and the simple sentence structure is sort of inspired by the way children actually talk, and I hope that it would be relatable to children. And then on the left here is actually my favorite illustration. And this one sort of encaptures that we had hoped to not just include differences based on children's appearances. We really wanted to emphasize that there are lots of facets of what make us a person and make us unique. And so we wanted to focus on children's interests, things they like to do. And so this is one example of that. And then here is an example of one of the share mocks that was hidden throughout the book. So I created a Qualtrics survey in order to get some feedback. Most of the feedback was from other students around my age, and also some preschool teachers and some occupational therapists as well. But what I was interested in knowing from this feedback, is the book appropriate for the age group? Did it convey the message that differences should be celebrated? And then what are some suggestions to improve this book or for future books written about the same topic? So here is the results from the question, what age group would you expect to read this book? And the majority of people did say preschoolers, and there was a lot of overlap into older toddlers and kindergarteners as well, which does make sense since the age group I had in mind was 2 to 5. So here, this shows how well the text conveys the message, the illustrations, and the discussion question. So overwhelmingly, people said that it exceeds expectations or was good at conveying the message that differences should be celebrated. There were also some opportunities for more qualitative feedback. And so here are some of the quotes that I had found the most helpful. So for example, someone noted that they appreciated that the differences were not just about appearance, and included things like preferences and interests. And then some constructive criticism that is very helpful, for example, is that mobility differences were not represented in the book. So including a child who has crutches or a wheelchair would just be more inclusive, and add to the story. So future directions, we'd actually have ordered physical copies of the books and are in the process of distributing them to libraries in New England and in Pennsylvania, and we'll distribute them to libraries, to schools, and to some nonprofit organizations as well, so that children are able to read these. But the general consensus from the feedback form is that this book is a good start, but even more could be done to further this message. So some specific directions in order to accomplish that is to create books for older age groups where these themes can be discussed on a deeper level, to include a wider variety of differences, such as mobility differences, and to incorporate even more interactive elements or activities for children reading the book. So now I can take any questions.